computer. Good morning, everybody. I'm here for another co-author interview with my sweet friend Caroline. And she and I have gotten to actually spend some time together in person and just really deepen our relationship and our love for this work. And the new book coming out is called Drops of Wisdom, Points of Power. And it's a collection of practitioners who are using essential oils on acupressure points. And Caroline's story is entitled The Alchemy of Embodiment, Scenting into the Wilds Inside. And Caroline, that title in itself makes me just want to go crawl into your story. So Caroline is a certified aromatherapist, an EFT tapping specialist, a licensed massage therapist, a yoga instructor, and she has a master's in teaching leadership. So you work in a high school, right?
Yes,
Currently?
yeah. I've had many years in K through 12 settings, but at the moment I am in high school, but I've also worked at elementary level as well as middle school level.
And you are permeating the education system with this. Let's talk about your role as a teacher and working with students that maybe learn in different ways and really respond well to these integrative therapies.
Wonderful. Well, first off, I want to thank you for holding this space open. This is a modality that's very near and dear to my heart, and I have loved collaborating, starting off as a mentor with you, and then that's evolved over the years into this really wonderful friendship. And you're a wonderful colleague, and also you've done so much leadership in this area. So I'm appreciating that. And this whole process of putting the book together has been an extraordinary experience. So thank you for facilitating this.
We had some really good study halls, didn't we?
We did. It was such a wonderful collection of human beings coming together with really creative ways of making the world a better place.
Yes, absolutely. So I know you've dabbled in acuaromatherapy. You started with the Aroma Point Therapy Fundamentals for Body Workers program that Tiffany and I were doing together. Um, and that was an introduction, but you had taken some classes with Peter Holmes as well. Am I correct?
Yeah, so initially I came to this modality during COVID-19, and in my role as an educator and as a really stressed out parent, a lot going on during that time. So I came into it through Peter Holmes, an online seminar, and was really intrigued. And the next follow-up, I actually did the APT Aroma Point therapy for body workers course with you.
Mhm.
And then after that, I just was so intrigued. I did years of training with Tiffany Carole.
Yeah.
So I'm a certified APT teacher. And then these past few years, I've been working with Tiffany Carole in her container with Aroma Point Mastery, something called Aroma Point Mastery. So I've done many cycles of that, and I'm a certified facilitator in that experience. And then most recently, you and I are both working in Gabriel Mojay's class, and I'm really loving knowing more about the plants themselves. I'm finding that's just adding this depth and dimension to the oils and connecting them back into the earth. So I've had amazing guides along the way, and continue to as my work expands into different places.
Beautiful. I know you have a fun new project going on with yoga. Do you want to talk about that with AcuAroma?
Yeah, this is one of the wonderful, playful way of utilizing the oils and integrating them with yoga. So I am a yoga teacher, and I primarily specialize in restorative yoga practices. And that's really finding practices that support relaxing into, yielding into the earth so that we're able to relax our nervous systems and really begin to do deep work. That's really a prerequisite. And the oils beautifully facilitate that relaxation of the nervous system, but they bring an element of inquiry, an element of awareness, and energetic shifts that you can't accomplish just with the yoga pose itself. So it's a wonderful addition, and I'm very excited about developing that.
Can you see the differences? And I'm assuming you've practiced on yourself when you've done yoga poses, but do you have an embodied experience with it where you can feel the tissue softening or just a better body mind body connection? Can you share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Being a massage therapist, I was using the oils in sequence, in a one-to-one, and I really wanted to facilitate that experience so anyone could access it, and especially using the yoga. So I started just naturally using it as I was going through the Aroma Point Mastery course, and using the oils naturally lend itself to movement, these embodied movements, along with qigong. It pairs beautifully with qigong movements. But I have started teaching it. I'm actually teaching this in yoga classes, pairing. We're doing it thematically by class and pairing points with oils. And what I notice personally is as you're dropping in, making that journey to the inside, it adds this element of you're coming back to the breath, but then also you're noticing the shifts within the fascia. And it allows you to really start to make a deeper inquiry in the most playful, natural, fragrant way. And it's so subtle using the oils to permeate really those emotional bodies, those mental bodies. And it allows us to start tracking that in a way that's absolutely beautiful. So it's really enriched my life, and I feel so incredibly grateful and excited to bring this into other places so people can start, explore their own exploration journey.
And I think that is totally possible and totally going to happen through your story. So, do you have one particular point in oil that you would say if someone was just starting to do this and exploring
Mhm.
that they might do as a gateway point in oil?
Right, right. Well, first off, I just want to say that at the roots of this, the heart of it is really coming back to being aware of what's already out there waiting for us in nature. And my sense of spirituality was very much cultivated being a guest in environments where that connection between the earth, the seasonal agricultural cycles, was very much intact. And so being able to experience that in communities that were stewarding that and really keeping those generational traditions alive really informed me and led me back to that place in me that where the spirituality, which was the spiritual place for me. So going outside, going on a trail, just smelling, there's eucalyptus trees, there's bay trees. I live in the Bay Area. There's roses, there's all sorts that are just out there available, and it's just waiting for you to take the moment to be aware and be present with the abundance of what actually is out there for us. Nature is just there. So that would be a first place. You're walking out to your car in the morning or doing an intentional walk down the street to the park. Just engage awareness. Be present to what is already around you. In terms of working with the oils, there's no game book for this. This is the beautiful thing. It's all about you and what inclinations you have. It's not a didactic way of learning. It's really allowing you to experientially, reflectively come back to what already is. So the points and the oils, many times we're already doing that naturally. If we're having a heartache, a shock, our hands are coming to these places on our body. So just being present and also gaining courage in that you do have the capacity that your body already is linked into these systems and relationships that have just evolved over lifetimes and lifetimes. So it's just a matter of bringing in that awareness piece. And then instantly you'll have that warmth and that sense of awe and compassion and connection and reverence. All of those are really hallmarks of what it means for me to be a human being, in relationship to myself, in relationship to those that I care about around me, in relationship to my community, my classroom. So it's all there. It's just a matter of allowing ourselves the time and space to turn our awareness into that.
Absolutely. And then magically, if we're reaching for a point, usually those are points that are tapping points or myofascial release points, or it's like our body innately knows, don't you think?
Our body innately knows, and it's been such a profound way of coming into connection, coming into deeper connection with myself, but also with my daughter. I have a neurodiverse daughter, and bedtime has been just a lifelong, difficulty. And one of the beautiful points of connection for us has been utilizing lavender with foot points. And it's just amazing, what had been really a bone of contention for us for years, settling her, just happens naturally, and really instantaneously. And again, like the bergamot and shenmen, I used that with my daughter, and she still asks for that, years after the pandemic. So it's a beautiful way to connect, with your loved ones and with
You even,
yourself.
and you even had students that were carrying the little roller balls, and they,
Yeah, I did
even
my,
after the
my master's
pandemic.
thesis. I did my master's thesis during the pandemic on exploring different regulatory tools, and I used the EFT tapping, and I also used bergamot on Shen Men. And years later, I still hear that students were carrying, these little bottles around, and it really empowers them. You're offering it as a choice and as a tool, and then their creative ways of implementing it, whatever works for them. And I still hear stories. I still have heard, students, yeah, I still have it. I use it for this, or I still have it. I like to do this. This is my routine. This is what gets me out of bed in the morning.
That is
So it's a wonderful empowerment tool. It really lends itself to supporting kids to developing agency and figuring out what works for them.
exactly. And they can be creative and it's non-invasive.
It's not
Well,
invasive. And also, I think so much of our day is spent inside. When I think about what I was living when I had my extended stays in Asia and Africa was outside. The connection with the outside was always there. But here, most of our day I'm in a cement building or I'm getting in my car and commuting back and forth. So being able to have that scent, the oils really has enabled me to rekindle that connection. Even if I can't be holding class in a eucalyptus grove, I can still have, a choice to have like a eucalyptus in an inhaler in my classroom where I can personally take that in and still be respectful of the space, the aromatic space, because that is
absolutely.
important to hold that a neutral space and invite people in as their inclinations, lead them.
Beautiful. Well, I'm so excited about your story, The Alchemy of Embodiment, scenting into the wilds inside, and how much of this comes from an inner knowing. And we'll be looking for the book to launch in about 4 weeks.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for cultivating this space. And whoever is reading this, I hope that you are excited and inspired to go out and discover what's awaiting you just outside your door.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Right. Thanks so much.